Hello, friends. I have good news to share with you. Lawmakers are taking action in several states. The House of Representatives just passed a federal child tax credit expansion. This change may help millions of low-income households, providing many Americans with thousands of dollars extra this year to cope with rising costs. My dear friends, please make sure that you watch until the end of this video. Also, every Friday, I will be announcing several winners for the Walmart gift card giveaway. If you would like to enter these weekly giveaway friends, please make sure that you click and like several of my videos and then comment below the keyword of each video that you watch. My dear friends, the more videos that you comment on, the greater your chances of winning these giveaways.
I wanted to talk on a specific issue, a specific issue to begin with that fits in the topic of regulations and the costs that they impose on both farmers and consumers. So let's talk about Prop 12. Mr. Secretary, you and I have discussed this issue. Preliminary data from a pending study at USDA's Office of the Chief Economist shows that prices of certain pork products have risen as much as 41% since the implementation of Proposition 12. A 2023 study found that the costs associated with Prop 12 are, quote, widespread and extensive, end quote. That same study expressed that quote, these costs have a more severe impact on smaller independent operations and that the stresses placed upon the entire production and marketing chain will lead to ever-increasing consolidation and concentration of the industry, end quotes. Now, we appreciate that the Biden administration sided with the industry during the Supreme Court case. As we all know, the Supreme Court has weighed in on this matter and asked Congress to act. When thinking about the stated goals of this administration and your very own testimony to serve small producers, can you speak to the economic harms from Proposition 12? And quite frankly, if pork prices are going up for consumers and costs are going up for producers, who's winning here?
Mr. Chairman, I don't want to take you all the way back in our history, but I'm going to, in response to your question to the Articles of Confederation. If you remember, when we began as a republic, we had basically a theory and structure that states would basically govern their own activities within their borders. What we found after several years of that experiment was chaos. And I think, frankly, that's where we are potentially headed. The reality is this, that when each state has the ability to define for itself and for its consumers exactly what farming techniques or practices are appropriate, it does create the possibility of 50 different sets of rules and regulations, which obviously creates serious concerns for producers because they have no stability and they have no certainty. I'm not sure that this Congress is going to be able to pass legislation, with due respect, but I would suggest that if we don't take this issue seriously, we're going to have chaos in the marketplace because there's nothing preventing any state from doing what California did. Now, why did the Supreme Court decide what they decided? They decided it because they believed that each and every producer had their own choice to participate in this market.
Approximately 2 million children in lower-income families in California could benefit from the expansion of the federal child tax credit proposed in a bill which is currently moving through Congress. This plan aims to make it simpler for families to access a credit and would also increase the amounts available. The bill, which totals $78 billion in tax cuts, is a compromise between conservatives seeking more business incentives and Democrats looking to reinstate some child tax benefits that expired with crisis-era relief measures. Funding for this bill mainly comes from changes to another crisis-related tax break for businesses. It received strong bipartisan support when it passed the House on January 31st, and it's now headed to the Senate for consideration. Currently, qualifying families can claim a $2,000 credit per child under the age of 17, with income limits of $200,000 for head of household filers and $400,000 for joint filers to receive the full credit. During the crisis, the child tax credit reached up to $3,600 per child. Although the credit itself remains at $2,000, The bill proposes changes to make it more beneficial. The credit is partially refundable, meaning those with little or no tax liability can still receive a refund. The bill would increase these refund amounts to $1,800 for last year's taxes, $1,900 for this year, and the maximum credit in the following year. Qualifying families earning less than $27,700 could see an average increase of $1,040 in their tax credit next year, while those with incomes between $27,700 and $53,300 may see a $500 increase. Examples provided by research groups show how different families would benefit. So, for instance, a single mother earning $24,000 a year will receive a credit of $3,920. That is up $400 from the current level. A married couple with 3 children would receive roughly $1,940 per child, totaling $5,830, and that is a $975 increase. A single parent working as a home health aide, earning $18,000 a year, will receive a credit of $1,800 per child in the first year for each child, up $1,275 over the current law. Various occupations, including cashiers, maids, housekeeping cleaners, personal care aides, janitors, nursing assistants, and waiters, are expected to see increases in this credit. While some progressives believe that the new tax credit breaks do fall short, others acknowledge the bill's positive impact in lifting children out of poverty and providing increased benefits for lower-income families. According to Yahoo News, inflation has changed the way that millions of Americans shop. Now those changes in consumer habits are helping bring down inflation. Fed up with prices that remain about 19% on average above where they were before the crisis, consumers are now fighting back. In grocery stores, they're shifting away from name brands to store brand items. Now more Americans are buying used vehicles too, rather than new ones, forcing some dealers to provide discounts on new cars again. But the growing consumer pushback to what critics condemn as price gouging has been most evident with food, as well as with consumer goods like paper towels and napkins. In recent months, consumer resistance has led large food companies to respond by sharply slowing their price increases from the peaks of the past 3 years. Public frustration with prices has become a central issue in President Biden's bid for re-election. Many polls show that despite the dramatic decline in inflation, millions of consumers are very unhappy that prices remain so much higher than they were before 2021. Biden has echoed the criticism of many left-leaning economists that corporations jacked up their prices more than was needed to cover their own higher costs, allowing themselves to boost their profits. Well, my great and beautiful friends, that is the end of my daily stimulus update video for today. My dear friends, thank you very much for being part of this community. Every Friday, I will be announcing several winners for the Walmart gift card giveaway. If you would like to enter these weekly giveaway, please make sure, friends, that you click and like several of my videos and then comment below the keyword of each video that you watch. The more videos that you comment on, friends, the greater your chances of winning these giveaways.